Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the Matrix. What comes to your mind when you hear the word Matrix, and do you guys really think that we are living in the Matrix? Well, let's start this video and see some interesting things about the Matrix. Matrix Resurrections. A new Matrix film has arrived more than 20 years after the first, and given the future of AI and VR that futurists like Nick Bostrom anticipate, the story of humans imprisoned inside a simulation is still pertinent. If you had sufficiently powerful computers, you could produce many millions of runs through all of human history. The great majority of brains like ours would be living in virtual worlds rather than the actual history, even if just a tiny proportion of the resources of this highly advanced society were employed for this purpose. Are you residing in a computer simulation? Is the question Professor Bostrom poses in the first draft of his groundbreaking simulation argument, which was published 20 years ago. Is it really so difficult to accept? Evidently not for several well-known scientists and IT icons. In order to better understand his simulation theory, Professor Bostrom had us watch The Matrix again. Bostrom's simulation argument doesn't provide a solution, but it argues that one of the following must be true as processing power and advancements in artificial intelligence increase. 1. We won't make it to the post-human stage before being extinct. Statement 1. The human race goes extinct before reaching post-human phase. In other words, we perish before we reach the point where we can program conscious brains into computer simulations. Statement 2. Post-human civilization is unlikely to run a significant number of simulations. Or 2. We continue to exist. However, we won't be interested in carrying out these kinds of simulations since we will be so advanced. Statement 3. We are almost certainly living in a computer simulation. 3 is the idea that we are actually living in a computer simulation. What is real? What is true? What do you mean by true? I think the first Matrix movie in particular was extremely interesting. It would seem to be a major revelation about how we fit into the overall structure of reality if the simulation argument is valid. We have long played with the idea that reality is an illusion, a shadow of what is actually true, from the Buddhist concept of Dharma to the Aztec notion that our world was painted by the gods to Plato's allegory of the cave. How can we be certain that we are not dreaming or that a demon is not tricking us into thinking there is an outside world has been a topic of debate for a very long time. But it wasn't until the Wachowskis' Matrix movie came out in 1999 that the idea of a world controlled by computers became deeply ingrained in people's minds. The best approach to describe the situation, if the simulation hypothesis is correct, would not be to state that the world we see is not real. Rather, I would argue that it is real but that its actuality consists of being simulated in a computer. The world as it is. A particular scene from The Matrix exposes viewers to a horrifyingly primitive world. Because of the artificial intelligence we developed, they used us as a source of energy to fuel their computers. The Matrix is a dream world created by computers with the intention of keeping us under control and transforming us into this. Is this likely to happen? You wouldn't want to retain a complete human being merely to produce waste heat, especially because there are currently a much more efficient engines available for converting energy when we need more than we produce. Okay, so how would the simulation operate if the basic Matrix assumption of using humans as a battery seemed ineffective and improbable? The only way to imagine it is to imagine something other than these sorts of biological brains floating in tanks with a large fiber bundle linked in to provide them with input from a virtual simulation of the real world. However, the brains themselves would be simulated. You would be conscious and your brain would be simulated to the point that it would essentially have the same data processing structure as the real brain. Now all of those neurons that are biological are simulated, as opposed to being implemented on biological neurons as we previously believed. Both silicon hardware and software might be used to implement that information processing. This serves as a sort of basis for the simulated defense. Substrate independence. I refer to it as substrate independence, the concept that consciousness may be realized on computer substrates in addition to biological carbon-based substrates. The architect. An extremely intelligent AI program that developed the Matrix is revealed to viewers in one scene. So, who are you? I am the designer. The Matrix was made by me. Who or what constructed our simulation if we do really reside in a simulation? If we happen to be in a simulation, it was made by a superintelligence rather than by human intellect, since only superintelligences have the technology to make realistic simulations with conscious beings like humans in them. It's a very sophisticated type of technology, right? And I believe the civilization that produced such cutting-edge technology would also have the know-how to boost their own intelligence and create very complex artificial intelligence. Therefore, by the time any civilization is able to produce these simulations, they would have the capacity to create more advanced intelligence, and I believe they will. In fact, that's how they'd probably learn how to make these simulations. The simulators would therefore be extremely clever. Why, though, would a civilization in the future build these worlds? If we develop the ability to make simulations, we may do it in a variety of ways. Based on our historical data, we may develop certain simulations of our own history that we try to make as accurate as possible, such as historical tourism. If you are interested in experiencing a bygone age but are unable to travel back in time due to the lack of a time machine, the next best option could be to design a simulation of this historical era. And you may discover it, engage with it, and encounter it. There can also be a lot of other reasons. We could create hypothetical simulations of unknown alien civilizations. That could be crucial for learning about the behavior of alien civilizations in the event that we do encounter them. Consider all the reasons why people have attempted to build things like imaginary worlds with the tools available to us, even if it was just with words on a page and the power of the human imagination to bring it to life. Red pill or blue pill? And we have reached the moment of truth, like in a relevant scene from The Matrix. The narrative comes to an end if you swallow the blue pill. I'm only giving you the truth, you swallow the red pill. Why is it vital to know the truth, as Morpheus gives, if we are all simply computer programs moving around in a simulated world? The environment we see would still be real in the sense that, for instance, what occurs in the simulation would be very important to us, and the experiences we have in this virtual reality would be very important to us. So, if Morpheus gave Professor Bostrom the option between the red and blue pills, which one would he pick? Red or blue pills, Professor? I assume that, as a philosopher, you have already taken the red pill a little bit. I am naturally cautious, as opposed to having to choose between seeking the fullest knowledge possible and continuing to live in ignorance. I may thus lean towards the third choice if it were available. Okay, maybe a purple pill. Should we just give up on creating super intelligent machines before it turns against us, like in The Matrix, Terminator 2001, A Space Odyssey, Westworld, or Ex Machina, despite the fact that we are not in a simulation and are aware of the dangers of AI? If we consistently fail to accomplish that, I believe it would be sad. However, I do believe that transformation will be accompanied by significant hazards, including existential ones. Designing AI systems that are essentially on our side, that uphold our values, or that are in line with human objectives will be necessary. So, that was all for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If yes, then feel free to like, subscribe, and share your perspective regarding The Matrix in the comments below.